Authority gave notice of the time, place, and date of this meeting by email on June 20th, 2023 to the Star Ledger, Times of Trenton, Secretary of State, and by posting the notice at the offices of the authority in Princeton, New Jersey, and on the authority's website. Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act, a resolution must be passed by the New Jersey Educational Facilities Authority in order to hold a session from which the public is excluded. Cheryl, would you please read the roll?
Josh Hodis,
Yes.
Ridgely Hutchinson,
Here.
Luis Rodriguez,
Here.
Ryan Feeney,
Here.
Angela Bethia.
Here.
Also on the phone, I see that Sam Kovac Orr from the Governor's Authorities Unit has joined. Sam is our new designee from the GAU, so welcome, Sam. We also have Brian McGarry from the Attorney General's Office, Steve Nelson, Ellen Yang, Brian Sutkus, and Rebecca Crespo from the Authority. We also have Hanya Ferrara, Senior Vice President for Finance and Administration from Fairleigh Dickinson University, John Cavalier of McManaman, Scotland and Bauman, who is bond counsel to the Authority on the Fairleigh Dickinson matter. And I believe I also saw Mary Jane Darby from Janney Montgomery Scott, who is financial advisor to the university. And that sums that up, Josh.
Great, thank you. Now I'd like to ask everyone to please turn to tab 1. I'd like to request the motion approving the minutes of the December 19th, 2023 meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Rich. Cheryl, please read the roll.
Josh Hodis,
I am going to abstain as I was recused from an agenda item at that meeting, so I will abstain.
Ridgely Hutchinson,
Yes.
Luis Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ryan Feeney,
Yes.
Angela Bethia.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great, thank you. Now I'd like to hand it over to Cheryl to provide the Executive Director's report.
Thank you, Josh. I will be brief this morning. In the last few months, staff has attended a number of important industry trainings and events, and some of those highlights include our presentation at the Alliance for Actions Construction Forecast Seminar at the end of October, all staff participation in an EEO awareness training session, attendance at Standard & Poor's U.S. Higher Education Credit Forum, NJBIA's annual Public Policy Forum, Moody's New Jersey State and Local Government briefings, and BLX's 2023 Post-Issuance Compliance Workshop. Staff has also been very active in its outreach efforts over the last couple of months. We continue to meet with bankers and other professionals in the higher education and public finance space. Earlier this month, we had very productive meetings with NJIT's new president, Take Lim, and his leadership team. We also met with TCNJ's new interim president, Michael Bernstein, and his team. Authority staff has continued to work on implementation of the higher education capital grant programs. As you know, you'll recall that in September, bonds were priced and closed in October for 2 of the 4 programs, the SIF and the ELF programs. Institutions have begun submitting requisitions for reimbursement of their project costs with grant funds. 2 weeks ago, on January 9th, the authority and the state priced its Higher Education Facilities Trust Fund and Higher Education Technology Infrastructure Fund issues. The bonds were both sold on a competitive basis and received strong market interest, with the HEF bonds receiving 16 bids and the HEDI bonds receiving 18 bids. Bank of America Securities was a successful bidder of the $78,200,000 HEF bonds, which achieved a true interest cost of 3%, while Morgan Stanley was a successful bidder for the $28,825,000 HEDI bonds, which achieved a true interest cost of 2.59%. Both series of bonds are expected to close this week on January 25th. Since the governor and the secretary's announcement in 21 that $400 million would be made available under these 4 grant programs, in the aggregate, approximately $370 million has now been issued. These bonds are funding grants that were approved during the secretary's 2022 cycle. 31 institutions are benefiting, and the grants comprise 64 grant awards for 54 projects. Finally, as I reported in October, the authority's office lease expires in December of this year. Staff is working with a realtor, Penalty Associates, to identify new space or identify renewal options in our current space. Progress since October includes solicitation of bids for prospective space from a handful of locations within a 2-mile radius of our current offices. Those bids have been received, and we're working with the realtor to evaluate and refine the proposals. We are targeting the March 26th board meeting to evaluate and refine, to bring a recommendation to the board for your consideration. And that concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Cheryl. Anyone have any questions for Cheryl? Hearing none, we will move on. I'd like to ask everyone to please turn to tab 2 for a resolution of the New Jersey Educational Facilities Authority authorizing an amendment to a certain bond agreement executed in connection with a bond issued by the authority on behalf of Fairleigh Dickinson University. And I'd like to ask Rebecca to please present the resolution.
Thanks, Josh. Today, the members are being asked to approve a resolution authorizing an amendment to the bond agreement related to the revenue and refunding bond Fairleigh Dickinson University issue 2021 Series A, originally issued with a principal amount of $63,785,000. The purchaser, TD Bank, and the university have agreed to amend 2 financial covenant provisions of the bond agreement and request the authority's consent. Specifically, the bond agreement contains a financial covenant in section 5.22, subsection A2A, that the university may incur operating leases and capitalized lease obligations, provided that the aggregate payments thereunder do not exceed $7 million in any fiscal year. The university and TD Bank have agreed to amend this section so that aggregate net payments do not exceed $10 million in any fiscal year, or such other amount as the university and TD Bank mutually agree to in writing upon notice to the authority, to be tested annually and certified by an authorized borrower representative. The parties have also agreed to amend the definition of unrestricted liquidity level in section 5.22 of the bond agreement and modify the partial redemption provision set forth in the bond. All other terms and conditions will remain in effect. Hanya Farrar, Senior Vice President for Finance and Administration at Fairleigh Dickinson University, would now like to make a few comments regarding the university's request.
Good morning and thank you. First, I would like to thank the EFA board and the entire team for all of your support for so many years. The university is so grateful for your commitment and all of your help, including with this transaction. Just a little bit of a background. As you may be aware, one of the university's 4 campuses is located in Vancouver, Canada. The campus right now has 2 locations in 2 rented facilities, combined square footage just under 50,000 gross. And the campus continues to grow at a pretty significant rate. The 2 locations that we have under a lease, both leases currently expire on August 31st of 2024, and we have option for another 5-year renewal. We know that whether we renew at a current space or a new space, we would need more space than the current facilities provide in anticipation of the growth that's to take place on the campus and to allow us to grow at the rate that we're able to grow. There's a proposed development that the university has been negotiating in that will provide about 93,000 square feet, so essentially doubling the current space and allowing the university to move into one combined location. And it's truly a unique opportunity because it's a new development that's surrounded by 10,000 acres of public parks, including rec facilities, civic center, library, daycare, community center. As some of our folks have put it, it's almost like having someone build a campus for you, and all you have to do is just take the actual educational facility itself. So it's really an incredible opportunity for us, but one that requires this modification in the current bond agreement. And I'm happy to answer any questions that the board may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Hanya. If there's no questions at this time, John Cavalier of McManaman, Scotland and Bowman will now present the resolution. Following his presentation, we'd be more than happy to answer any questions at that time.
Thanks, Rebecca. Good morning, everybody. The resolution before you authorizes the execution and delivery of an amendment to the bond agreement dated February 24, 2021 by and among the authority, Fairleigh Dickinson University and TD Bank, which was executed in connection with the authority's 2021 Series A bonds issued on behalf of the university. It also authorizes the execution and delivery of an amendment to those bonds. The amendments revise certain financial covenants of the university as well as a partial redemption provision as previously described by Rebecca. The resolution authorizes certain officers of the authority to execute and deliver the amendment to bond agreement and amend it and restate it bond and such other documents as may be necessary in order to effectuate the resolution. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to address them. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
There's no concern, there's no concern that they have one portion of the properties in Canada? Or what did I ask? I'm asking the wrong question.
I'm sorry, Louis, can you repeat your question?
Yeah, she said that part of the university is in Canada. We don't have any worry about it. Is that do I hear that?
So Louis, a number of our institutions have campuses in, places around the world.
Really?
From the standpoint of that, it's not, it's standard, almost standard practice for many institutions, in New Jersey. And the authority would not necessarily have an opinion about where their campuses are located. So it sounds like it's a very positive development for FDU all around, that they are seeing a growth.
If I can also join in, you're not authorizing a financing of a Canadian facility. You're just allowing them under the financial covenants that exist in the existing documents in order to go forward with that. So it's it allows them to go forward with the other campus, but is not actually financing the other campus.
Okay,
John.
all right. That brings me to another question. And the last meeting we had, there was a statement made to, reference was made to not lending money to Iran. What was that about? Do you remember that, Sherry?
I wasn't present at the last meeting, and I did not get the tail end of what you said.
Yeah, it's something similar. It says one of the statements in the resolution says no money will be lending to Iran. I don't know what. I think that was with Steve. I don't know, you were leading that. Remember that?
Yes, sir. But I'd still, so no money lent to, and I missed the last part of what you were saying.
Excuse me?
I didn't hear the last part of your question.
Oh, there was a statement, one of the resolutions that we should not lend any money to Iran.
Oh, Iran. Yes.
Iran, yes.
Yes, there are certain state laws that we don't lend, our business and our professionals cannot do business with certain countries, and Iran is one of those countries.
And those are specific prohibitions that are authorized by statute. The legislature will pass laws from time to time.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, but I just want to know why this happened. I never saw it before. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Louis. Thank you, Mr. Cavalier, Ms. Ferrer, and Rebecca. We're proud to have this resolution on our agenda today. And with that, resolution of the New Jersey Educational Facilities Authority authorizing an amendment to certain bond agreement executed in connection with bond issued by the authority on behalf of Fairleigh Dickinson University. I will move the resolution. Is there a second?
Second, Angela.
Great, thank you, Angela. Cheryl, please read the roll.
Josh Otis,
Yes.
Ridgely Hutchinson,
Yes.
Louis Rodriguez,
Yes.
Brian Feeney,
Yes.
Angela Bethia,
Yes.
all in favor.
Great, thank you. Best of luck, Ms. Ferrer. Thank you.
Thank you, Anya.
Thank you very much.
Now I'd like to ask everyone to please turn to tab 3 for a report on the operating and construction fund statements and disbursements. And I'd like to ask Brian to give the report.
Thank you, Josh. The authority concluded November with a year-to-date net operating income in the amount of 1.7 million based on year-to-date revenues of 4 million and expenses of 2.4 million. Year-to-date revenues were 390,000 more than projected due to higher investment income, offset by lower than expected initial fee income related to the delay in the closing of the Heft and Hetty grant programs. Operating expenditures for the first 11 months of the year were under budget by 770,000 due to staff vacancies and the timing of OPEB and pension valuation expenses.
Any questions for Brian? Hearing none, I'd like to request the motion accepting the reports.
So moved.
Moved by Ridge, I'll second. Cheryl, please read the roll.
Josh Otis,
Yes.
Ridgely Hutchinson, Luis Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ryan Feeney,
Yes.
Angela Bethia,
yes,
all in favor.
Great, thank you. I'd like to remind everybody that our next regularly scheduled meeting is on Tuesday, February 27th. The meetings will continue to be conducted via Zoom until further notice. I'd like to request a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you. Meeting adjourned.